But tip number one, having a dog is a really easy way to pick up girls. Right. So you don't need a pickup line?
I wish I was cross-eyed so I could see you twice, you know?
Hey, hello, I'm Theresa. Welcome to DTB IG. We don't have Ping here, so she asked me to stand in her place to host, and I gladly accepted because I think it's really fun. So today, we have a special guest. Let's welcome Nelson! Yay!
Hey, thanks,
hey, Nelson.
Good to see you.
So we actually met together to do an escape room. And that's when I first met Nelson, and my first impression of Nelson was that he was very confident, he was very friendly, and he approached you and then he talked to you very easily and then able to carry a very good conversation. He had a lot of swag in, in the way he carried himself. Good to see you, how are you?
I'm good.
What have you been up to recently?
Just working,
yeah.
Thinking about traveling.
Nice,
discussed.
Nice. Yeah. You know why we invited you here?
I have a feeling I know.
So today, we are going to discuss advice for guys on how to be smooth with girls. I guess, you know, for a lot of the guys, they feel not confident, they don't know how to approach girls. And apparently, Nelson has a lot of experiences. His friends say he's a really smooth guy, and you know, I'm sure if you guys have seen his date video.
Great conversation.
Yeah.
Really nice to get to know you.
Yeah.
Like that you're into self-care. You had some great adventures.
Thank you. He does seem like a pretty smooth guy. So
well, thank you.
I guess let's maybe dig into it a little bit more. Like, how do you? Oh, look at that! Here's popcorn. But tip number one, having a dog is a really easy way to pick up girls. But that's a side.
My sidekick right here. You know, like, rejection happens all the time in life. You might just walk up to somebody, introduce yourself, hey, my name is Nelson, what's yours? And they might just like look at you like you're crazy and walk the other way, right?
Yeah.
So be it. Like, these things happen in
life.
Right. And I think like as you go and do it more and more often, I think you'll find ways where you can do it much more naturally, where it's less awkward or less, where, you know, you're just being much more curious or explorative and less like trying to strategically like figure out like how to tactically approach it. You know, it's like it's a little too creepy.
It's like being more like open-minded, like keeping it natural. And I mean, from what I'm hearing, it's like you go in, you know, with the purpose of like trying to get to know the other person out of curiosity, and not that you're trying to get a number, you're not trying to get a result. And so even if you don't achieve that, then that's fine. You know, you still tried, you still had you still stepped out of your comfort zone. Yeah. And that's an achievement itself, I guess.
So I'm in my 30s now. Okay. So like in my 30s, I've spent a lot more time just working and building up myself, because I think in part like a key to actually being an interesting person to the opposite sex is actually being interesting yourself. And like, just because you can start a conversation doesn't mean you can hold one.
Okay.
So holding a conversation, like you have to be, you have to have some life experience, you have to have some stories you can tell, you have to have this and that and the other, right? So I think in my 30s, it's much more interesting to focus more on myself. Because ultimately I think most women are interested in someone that is interesting, right? So like if you're just an uninteresting person that just keeps hitting on girls all the time, like it's just kind of like, for me, it's not a way I would want to spend my life. I'm not judging people who do it. So
you're basically saying building on yourself is actually more important than trying to perfect the act of trying to approach girls. Yeah. Because by being as a well-rounded, interesting person, then naturally you're gonna have that charisma when you talk to girls.
Yeah.
What would be some advice that you would have on how can guys build that? You know, if they're really into video games and, you know, like anime, is that enough, or do they need some other interests to kind of complement that?
You have to put yourself on a certain stage to even be seen. Okay. And I think a lot of guys never even put themselves on a stage to even be recognized by a girl in the first place. And that's problem number one, right? Yeah. So like you can be on anime and video games and stuff like that, but if you're just invisible and you're just playing these games in your room all day, and the other girls that play video games have no idea that you exist, like that's problem number one, right?
All each playing video games in your own rooms.
Yeah, you gotta, like the other person needs
Maybe you
to
need
know.
to go to Comic-Con, because anime, you know, and then you'll meet other girls there dressed up with Comic-Con, and then video games, join some league, and then you can meet some girls. Like, okay.
Like, so you have to put yourself out there.
You gotta put yourself, okay.
It doesn't even, but like if you're the person at Comic-Con and you're on stage, you don't need to even talk to girls, but girls will see you, for example, right?
That's a really good point. This is that it's not about, you know, your interests. It's about putting yourself out there and making yourself visible, making whatever that you are good at and interested in being seen by other people and seeing your passion in that thing. So then you'll connect with people naturally with that way.
Right.
Yeah. If they want to be able to connect with girls like right away, I just want to be able to go to a event and then not be scared to approach a girl.
I think the easiest thing to do if you don't know what to do is just walk up to somebody and just say, hi, my name is Nelson. Just see how they respond. Just start there. I think a lot of people do too much thinking about like, what am I going to say?
Like
right?
They pump themselves up, be like, oh my god, like rehearse the sentences in their head like multiple times.
And it's like if a girl's not interested in you at all to even introduce her, to give you her name, then just like it's over. Just walk away, you're done, right? Not a big deal. But she might actually say, hey, like I'm so and so.
Okay,
or
so
she might say, nice to meet you, and you can say, what's your name? Right? And just start a conversation. Right?
So you don't need a pickup line? Like, you must be so tired. Oh, why? And because you're running around my head.
Oh, like I wish I was cross-eyed so I could see you twice. You know? Sort of stuff, right? Like things like that. Like
that's a good one.
Yeah, but like it's. I mean, you could, right? I'm not opposed to it, right? But I'm just saying that like that's where people get in their heads about like the delivery and the execution and all these things.
Okay.
So if you want to just keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Okay, I think that would be a good advice.
It's just like a very friendly opening of like, hey, I'm a friendly person. This is who I am. I'm not a psychopath. Like, I just want to know you. I'm not coming with all these planned like gimmicks and things.
like the purpose, you just slide in very, very smoothly without letting the girl feel uncomfortable. Because if you just come in too strong, the girl might feel like, who the heck are you? Like, I'm not. I don't even know you. Like.
I think for a lot of Asian guys, like they come from a place that's highly structured. So when you're in like a space where it's like flirting or whatever you want to call it, talking to a girl, it's not so structured, right? It's not like here's like 6 steps for you to like go through, right? Because it's very situational. So like part of it is just like feeling a moment, right? And you have to actually like be part of a moment, right? And I think like that's challenging for a lot of Asian people because a lot of Asian people are they kind of like very like structured and they kind of move in a very like directional kind of way, right? And so I think you need to open yourself up to be a little bit more, have a little bit more dimension, right? So you can actually think about like, what is the context of the situation I'm in, and who is this person, and like what is so interesting about this moment or this person. Like there's so much you can talk about.
Just being very observational, sounds like.
Being observational is good, and then like you want to mix it obviously with some type of like humor, right? You don't want to be like, oh, you have black hair, right? Like it's like what? Like it's like, you know, like, hey, I noticed you have the same hair color as my mom. Like, it's like what? You know, it doesn't make any sense. So like you gotta like at least say something. Hey, wow, like you have like beautiful hair, right? Like how do you get your hair to like look like that?
That would be a good compliment. Actually, not too creepy.
Creepy. It's just like I'm just being genuinely curious about the world around you is very helpful, right? So I think like part of it is just a little imagination, a little creativity about like the environment that you're in, and just like immersing yourself in wherever you are and just taking it all in and not trying to force everything, right? And not trying to script everything. It's just like part of it's just the moment in the environment.
If you feel like the girl has put in some effort into the way she presents herself, like in any way, maybe her makeup, she did a really good makeup, maybe she really put effort into like her outfits, then I think it really helps to reinforce that, because if the girl has put effort into a specific area she tries to represent, then you try to compliment her on that, she's gonna take it really well, I think. So I think being observational, make an effort on trying to observe where she tried to make the most effort and then compliment her on that, then I would feel like she would appreciate that, I think. I've heard of getting the number. Let's take a selfie, right? And then you take a selfie and then, oh, what's your number? I can send it to you. Like that's There was another one. Oh, tell me about your life. Show me your Instagram. You know, you can tell me about your life on your Instagram, right? And then
he's like, okay, Theresa 167.
No, because he asked me to type my Instagram handle in his Instagram. And then immediately he just like followed me, and I was like, well, that is very smooth. Like it wasn't all about trying to get the number. It was about I want to get to know you. Tell me about yourself on your Instagram, and then he just immediately followed me. So
part of it has always just been like if you're in a space with another girl, like you can usually tell if there's chemistry or not.
Okay.
Like, I think if there's chemistry, like the girl's gonna give you her number, right? That's part of it, right? So you have to figure out, like, are you in a situation where if there's no connection, then there's no energy, right? So if there's no energy, then what are you trying to get a number
I see.
for, right? Like,
okay. So there
like
has to naturally be a connection there.
Yeah, like if there's no natural connection whatsoever, then like why am I getting somebody's phone number, right? It makes no sense, right? Then it's very forced, right? Then I'm just like, well, then I'm just fishing, basically.
Yep. So. That's true. That's a good point. I think for Pink's audience out there, a lot of them are Christians. I think that's already a connection.
So you just like have the Bible, just
just be like,
I want to read it.
Yeah, like our church has some event, like, you know, I can invite you to. Let me, you know, maybe we can exchange contacts. You can invite me to some of your events. I can invite you to some of our Bible studies or something. I really appreciate this. Very insightful, because I started this conversation thinking we were going to go into step 1, do this, step 2, do this, and how to approach girls, but it turned out to be a very insightful how to build yourself within this life, and I think that's very useful for some of the viewers. So yeah, thank you, Nelson, and thanks everybody for watching this episode of Date the Bay, and thanks for supporting Date the Bay in general.
If you like what you see, like and subscribe below, and follow our content and let us know how we can improve the show.
Thanks for watching Date the Bay. If you like this channel, please subscribe, like, comments. Popcorn.
Go to datethebay.com to get matched with San Francisco Bay singles.